Welcome to the second programme in the Coppers and Brass series in Irish traditional music. It's a series of programmes that's taken a look at aspects of Irish music that haven't or hasn't been explored in the depth that I think that they merit. This week we're going to be looking at the story of the Doran family, who made an enormous contribution to Irish traditional music. We're also going to be taking another wee dander down to the Cobblestones and having a peep in there at some great music. We have in the studio with us Oliver O'Connell. Oliver, you're very welcome.
Thank you, Tommy.
And we're going to be talking to you about the Dorans in a second. But before we do that, we're going to have a look at some of the activities around the celebration of the Doran family that have been taking place over the last 10 years, sometimes very quietly.
It's unbelievable what kind of men were they? You know what, when the first thing you hear of a set of pipes like that, they hear of pipes, what's the first name? I don't care which piper he is. First name comes into your head. Doran. Johnny Doran. Yeah. Felix Doran.
Johnny Doran's grandfather was John Cash the Piper. He was a horse dealer and quite a wealthy one, you know. So he used to follow the country like in trains of horses. He'd bring them from the Midlands down to Kilkenny. You know, there were cattle or horse fairs in different parts of the country at different times. So he would always have his pipes with him. So that's how he became known as Cash the Piper, and he became quite famous.
Cash the Piper, as he was known, is widely regarded as the patriarch of the musical dynasty of the Cashes and the Dorans. Each of the brothers became exceptional exponents of the uilleann pipes, but Johnny's playing is truly the stuff of virtuosity.
I had a lovely childhood, reared up to that music. We'd be down the road and we'd be coming up skipping or dancing up to the music, and when he'd make us all hold hands, all do the one step together. And then he'd be sitting up in the wagon playing. And sometimes there was a four-wheeler, and it was a wooden floor in the four-wheeler. And 2 men had held up the shafts of that. And he'd get us up in that four-wheeler over the wooden floor with the hornpipe shoes, make the noise at the steps. And he was saying, "Go on, girls, good girls." Oh, he was so happy. And then he'd say, "Right again." He'd make, if we made a mistake, "Right, let's go back over it all and over again." And he was a grand old singer, you know, my daddy.
Was he?
He was a lovely singer. He used to sing to us. And yet he wouldn't sing out in public, but he used to sing to us, and he played, tuned the pipes, and he'd sing it to us.
John Kelly, the renowned fiddle player from County Clare, made a unique contribution to the development of Irish traditional music when he arranged for Johnny Doran to be recorded in 1948 at the Irish Folklore Commission. Kelly had been a long-time friend and admirer of Doran, and sensing that the famous piper's health was deteriorating and appreciating the need to preserve Doran's piping, he arranged for Kevin Danaher to make the now famous 12-track recordings of Doran.
Like, he was brought into this room and there was a machine, do you know? And if you listen to the playing, and I'm totally projecting here, that he's sitting looking at that machine and he's not even thinking about the tune that he's playing. He's watching the red light and he's going, "What the hell is that thing doing? Oh yeah. And all of this is going on. And he's in the middle of Rake's Paddy for the 15th time.
To this day, no other recordings of Johnny Doran have been discovered. In 1948, an unfortunate accident happened to Johnny Doran.
My daddy left the wagon. There's a ladders going down the wagon where you walk down the ladders to get out on the ground. And he was stooping down. And I don't know which one of us, one of the children said, "Daddy, fasten your laces." He bent down to fasten his laces. And the wall, big storm come, the wall fell on top of the wagon. So the whole lot went on top of me daddy, his back. And I kept saying, "Daddy, you're full of blood." As he was bleeding a lot. "Daddy, you're full of blood. Let me wipe the blood off you." "I'm all right, doctor," he kept saying, "I'm all right."
During the rescue mission, Johnny's lower back was injured. He was paralysed from the waist down.
When he was going into Athy Hospital, the priest asked him, you know you're dying, Johnny, you're afraid to die?" "I'm not afraid to die," he said. "But the only thing," he said, "I'm so sad about is leaving my wife and my family."
In 1950, Johnny Doran passed away. Johnny's younger brother Felix also established a reputation as a great uilleann piper in his own right, at a time when Irish travellers were abandoning the horse-drawn wagon as their primary means of travelling. Felix continued travelling and playing his music throughout Ireland until 1952, when he followed the route of his parents by moving first to Scotland, then south to England. Felix and his wife had a large family, 9 boys and 6 girls. It fell to his son Mikey to maintain the piping tradition of the family, who has successfully passed that torch on to his son Mikey Jr. Felix was born in 1916 and died at the age of 58 in Grimsby. The unique contribution of Johnny and Felix Doran to Irish traditional music is celebrated each year in County Clare in early spring, symbolically recalling the arrival of the famous brothers into the county where they were most revered.
But the people of Clare, they give them such a welcome 70 years ago, and we're coming here now, and it's 70 years later, and it's 40 years since Felix was here. You know, it's amazing. We still get the same welcome as they give them lads. You know, they took them into their hearts, but they took the County Clare itself into their hearts, loved the people in this county. First thing you say, right, who do you want to play with? Like, I want to play like Johnny Doran or Felix. You know, who do you want to play the pipes like? Yeah, if you that size will sell a pipe, who do you want to play like? I want to play like Johnny Doran. First word was, the man is dead 70 or 80 years, I don't know how long he's dead, but isn't it amazing?
Members of both families are always well represented at the gathering, and those members who still keep on the piping tradition, Maggie Doran Sr. and Jr., John and Larry Rooney and Johnny Purcell, join with members of the Irish traditional music community to play the tunes favoured by the travelling minstrels. Well, Oliver, plenty of colour and music there.
Thank you, Tommy. Yeah.
And you've been a big part of that. Before we start talking about the Dorans, though, Oliver, what's your own background and how do you get involved both with traditional music and with the Dorans?
I suppose, first of all, I'm born in County Clare, very blessed with that, and very lucky.
Hold that against
lucky
you.
Man for that. And then again, like to add to that, I was born in a very good part of County Clare, which is North Clare, Dublin, and close to Kilfenore. And I was very fortunate, I suppose, as a young man, a young child, even to be exposed to a lot of the greats of music up in North Clare. I remember our house in particular in Fernhill. It was a wonderful house for the country dances at that time. So we would have a huge exposure to people like Michael Russell coming in and Bobby Garn and people like that. They would assemble in our house for the dances. I have visions of being 3 years of age and listening to Michael Russell playing inside my kitchen table with a black Clark's tin whistle. Not too many people have that kind of memory. So I was blessed, you know.
And you've been involved with many members of the travelling community over quite a number of years.
Well, it was Tommy, and I tell you, I'm a very fortunate man, I suppose. First of all, my first relationship was with the famous Doran family in Limerick. Mickey Dunn and Christy Dunn and Jeremiah Dunn and old Paddy Dunn, Mickey's father. And I remember the uncles playing at the matches and playing in the streets of Limerick. But I knew these guys very, very well. And wonderful, wonderful family, great players. And they're great people that have left a huge legacy to Ireland. Then in about 1973, 74, I came in contact with Paddy Keenan for the first time. You know, that's 40 years ago now, you know. And we became great friends. He was an amazing man. I used to have a place in Listonvarna around the Botty Band days, and he used to come.
Golden era.
He used to come and stay with me. And then, of course, around the 1970s, again, I got very friendly with Finbar Furia. And it was just kind of, it was like a castle. Every one of them I met, actually, of those kind of families were like incredible in their own way. And it was around the around the year 2000 I first came in contact with the Dorans.
You seem to be very much attracted to the travellers' approach to music and Irish traditional music, and the Dorans have a particular iconic place in the development of Irish traditional music. What was your interest particularly in the Dorans?
My first contact with him actually was down in County Wicklow at one of the 10 holes, which we now hold in County Clare every year. And I thought they were quite amazing, like, you know, and the relations as well, like Johnny Rooney and Larry Rooney. I have a son, Michael, who plays pipes, and we had a wonderful week that time down there. But you know, there was something about them. There was something about the style of music they played and the way they played it and the vibe. They were just nice people as well. And it was that kind of inspiration that in later years encouraged yourself and myself, Tommy, to write the book Free Spirits. And I'm glad to say we captured the essence of what the Dorans were in that book, in that publication. It's got huge international recognition, and I'm something I'm very proud of above anything else. I mean, I wouldn't class myself as a great musician, but I love music, and that's more important than being a great musician, and to have the love for it and have the understanding of it. And I just found, you know, being from the settled community myself, I found that people from the travelling community, they just had something that was different in the music. I saw it, I could feel it.
You're from County Clare, and Johnny and Felix Doran made County Clare almost their adopted home. What was it about them that resonated so well with County Clare?
I was thinking about this actually, Tommy, you know, and when you think about going back to the 1930s, 1940s in Ireland, when somebody like Johnny Doran would sit into a horse-drawn caravan in County Wicklow and decide to drive to County Clare. Like, it must have taken a couple of days, first of all, like, you know, but you'd have, or maybe drive up to Donegal. But in County Clare in particular, you've got to remember, at those times, the World War was on, and, you know, rations, food were rationed, things were poor. We didn't have, there wasn't certainly no iPhones or no iPads or no entertainment. The country was poor, and particularly the west of Ireland was very, very poor. And Doran was more than just somebody, he was more than somebody just being a good musician. He was somebody that was coming to breathe a bit of life into the community at that time. You take, for example, the fine weather at the moment, everybody's in good spirits. And when he arrived in County Clare, he was welcomed with open arms by everybody, whether it was in Broadford or whether it was in Kilkishen or Milltown, Malby or Kilrush. They wanted him there. And then they used him, I won't say used him, but they needed him to play for the weddings of their sons and their daughters when there was people immigrating, what have you. And he bought into that big time, and he became one of them. And it was the respect that they had given him, I think, that he gave back to them as well. I think that's what it was.
Well, Oliver, you tell the story very well, but you sing it even better. So we're going to take a wee cut back to the session in the Cobblestones, which features you with the powerful, I have to say, a powerful story and song that you've written about Johnny Doran. And I've heard you singing this the length and breadth of Ireland and indeed in England, and without failure, it always is a showstopper. It's a powerful show. So we're going to go back over to the Cobblestones and listen to Oliver's tribute to Johnny and Felix Doran.
Good evening, everybody. My name is Oliver O'Connell. I'm from County Clare, and delighted to be in such prestigious company here tonight in Cobblestones in Dublin. Famous Mulligan family all around me, and great to be here with you lads. I'm going to do a song for you. It's one of my own compositions, and it tells us the story of the great piper Johnny Doran, who in 1948 wall fell in his caravan, not too far from here actually, up there on High Street, and broke his back. And he was probably one of the greatest pipers we've ever had. There's no question about that. Even all the young pipers we have had here tonight will attest to that. We got 12 minutes of a recording of made just shortly before his accident by the great fiddler from County Clare called John Kelly. And that's the only recording we have of him, you know. And it's a true thing to say that without the likes of Johnny Doran, we may not have had a Finbar Fury or a Paddy Keenan or an Alfie Mulligan or Neely Mulligan or any of those guys, because they were influenced by those particular pipers. And this is a song I wrote for him, and I'm just going to do a little monologue that at the very beginning of it that was given to me by Finbar Fury, who said if I ever sing this song anywhere I should do this monologue first, because it kind of captures the time in Ireland when the Dorans and the Keenans and the Furies and people like them travelled from village to village and town to town and parish to parish in Ireland to play music and to sing songs and to entertain the Irish people. So I just call it simply the Doran song, and I hope you like it. The piper sleeps beneath the shrouds of winter, his travelling way of life now almost gone. His pipes of peace are resting, and his journey is over. His legacy of music living on. Cold death has kissed and the piper's breath was frozen on dreams of yesterday's cruel ice crawls. The purest tones, supreme to piping mysteries, held tight now in the grip of nature's claws. No more he'll stray the lanes from Clare to Dublin. No more he'll pipe the fairs of rural towns, or sit the milestone tuning pipes for Clancy. His travelling style of music far beyond. Green tented wattles, they were no match for winter. Would muggy straw warm a roadside bed? Sweet, sweet the pipes, and the hand and the heart that will them, from a travelling man with no equal must be said. Oh, the first time that I heard him play at the mill town Malbay Fair, with their horses and their uilleann pipes, the Dorans came to Clare. We watched them playing on the street on a cold September day. The crowds they gathered round to hear the travelling Dorans play. Johnny Doran was a travelling man who roamed from town to town, from Killinall to Donegal, from Clare to County Down. He played those pipes, the master's touch. We'll see he's like no more. The Doran boys, though now long gone, are part of our folklore. Oh, we listen to their favourite tunes as we stood outside the door. Rakish Paddy and the Lark and the Bucks of Audenmore, the piper's drones and the chanter's tones, so haunting and so true. When Felix Doran played those pipes, he played for me and you. The Doran sound is all around, just listen to the roar. When Paddy Keenan takes the stage and he plays the Ballantor, or Finbar's lonesome boatman, or the way he sings a song, the Keenans, Furies and the Duns, the legacy lives on. I remember now of days gone by and of times long, long ago, from the Ballylongford races to the fairs at Ballinasloe. They stood on cold October streets, proud fathers and their sons, listening to the music of the Dorans and the Duns. Oh, the streets and lanes, they are empty now, the pipers they have gone. No more we'll hear the Primrose Lass or the haunting Slievenamon. The winter's cold, it had taken hold when Johnny Doran said goodbye, but we still hear the music of the black hair piper boy. Oh, we'll never see their likes again, those travelling Doran by.
Well, I think you'll agree that's one enormous tribute to the great Doran brothers, and well penned by Oliver. Oliver, congratulations again. That was really powerful tribute, and I know you should be proud of it. Finally, what about the future of the Dorans? I know a few of them still come back over to Ireland for an annual celebration in early spring.
Yeah,
how's the future of that looking?
Well, yeah, that's pretty good. Every April in West Clare in the Bellbridge Hotel we run the Doran weekend, the Doran 10-0. And my son Michael now, who's a wonderful piper, taught by Mickey Dunn, and has been heavily influenced by Keenan and Fury and the Dorans, what have you. He's running now with Mickey Dunn and Leo Ricard. I've kind of stepped back a little bit. That's an incredible weekend, and it's something to look at when you see people from literally a lot of countries in the world now coming in to learn how to play the pipes, like Johnny Doran and like the travelling people generally, you know. They love this sound, they love the vibrancy and the energetic and the frenzy that it creates and the atmosphere, you know, and it's wonderful, and it's going to go on. And this is important for us, that even the young travelling community, whether they're in Ireland or in England, that they continue this wonderful, wonderful legacy. It's an incredible legacy. It's part of what we are. It's part of who we are. And music and culture and heritage and all of those things, the songs, the language, the dance, whatever it is, we have something unique. And the Dorans were the catalysts in many ways, like their brother, as I say, Duns, Keenans and Furies, that kept the fire lighting.
And you in particular, with your music and your song and your organisational skills, have been a major contribution in rekindling an interest in the Dorans. I want to thank you for that, Oliver. And thank you for all the hospitality you've extended to me every time I've gone down to Bally and County Clare.
You're welcome in Clare anytime.
And keep the music up down there.
Thank you, thank you.
So that was Oliver O'Connell telling us briefly about the wonderful story of the Dorans. Thanks very much for looking in. I hope you've enjoyed the programme. The next programme will continue with the Travellers' influence on Irish traditional music, and I'm delighted to say that we'll have Mickey Dunn, who Oliver's been talking about, up in the studio with us. We'll also be taking another wee dander down to the Cobblestones for a few more jewels of Irish traditional music. In the meantime, take care, God bless, and we'll see you soon.
All the streets and lanes, they are empty now. The pipers, they have gone. No more we'll hear the primrose lass, or the haunting Slievenaman. The winter's cold, it had taken hold when Johnny Doran said goodbye. but we still hear the music of the black hair piper boy. Oh, we'll never see their likes again, those travelling Doran boys.